Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Yankees Avenue live stream. Long time no see, everybody. Hope everybody's hanging in there and doing well, which I imagine, chat. I imagine you have been because, within the last couple weeks, and we'll get to my absence in just a moment. Don't want to overhype it too much. I kind of just went MIA off the grid. But, best spot we've been in all season long, chat. And of course, it is coming at the perfect time. We have less than a week until the playoffs begin. There's one scenario where we're in the midst of a 3-game set. Of course, that would be the wild card series. And you can't deny there's also another scenario that at this point is, I won't say likely. I won't say something that we should even... Nah, after that, to be honest, with last night's victory and the Blue Jays losing again, you're within now, with the tiebreaker, 2 games back of the American League East. You can dream about still taking the division, chat. And as far as just the last couple weeks go, the Yanks are playing their best baseball they've played all season long. They're as healthy as they've been all season long. The fundamentals are, well, not perfect. And really, what team, I would imagine, does have perfect fundamentals? Much improved. Every complaint that we've had about this team, some more vocal than others, some a little more mean-spirited than others, hasn't entirely been resolved to perfection. But I think even the biggest of pessimists would be able to acknowledge that given what we've seen from the 2025 Yankees so far, they've put it together at the right time, and putting it together has looked pretty damn good. We're gonna chop it up a little bit, I think, today, chat. What this stream is kind of just get my feet wet back in the swing of things here as we gear up for the postseason. Again, could be a wild card series, could be if we end up winning the division and getting the bye. Which, if that does happen, if we win the division, we're talking number 1 seed in the American League. So we got to see how this is all gonna unfold over the next 5 games. Toronto plays. They continue their 3-game set against Boston tonight, which Boston's throwing crochet. Meanwhile, the Blue Jays will be running out Max Scherzer, who's struggling lately. Obviously, 40 years old. ERA is now back over 5. For the Yanks, they continue their 3-game set against Chicago, and we got Max Fried going tonight, who's seeking his 19th win, which, if so, the Yankees get their overall 90th win on the year. So the American League East is still very much in play, more than it's been, at least like tangibly speaking. Like, it feels more real now than it's been. It feels like almost for months, even going back to a couple weeks where we had a 2-game deficit, which was really 3 with more time to play. Now that you see, although it really is 2, but you see the 1 game back, the Yanks could win tonight. Blue Jays lose. Again, they're going up against Garrett Crochet. And at least when you're looking at the computer screen on MLB.com on the standings, we're going to be all knotted up. That could happen tonight. Again, obviously we know, and it feels so redundant to keep saying it, and I feel like Michael Kay has been struggling with this, but you got to keep mentioning the fact that the Blue Jays do have the tiebreaker, so we're really 2 games back. But, we can go 4-1 the rest of the way, and Toronto goes 2-3, and we win the division. And we got the series against the White Sox, and then 3 more to go against Baltimore. It is very possible, chat, that after all this, we end up being American League East champions. But what I think we're going to do is, just chop it up, talk Yanks. I want to discuss the Game 3 starter for whatever it would be, whether it be the wildcard series or an ALDS, which massive difference there. I think it could be a different guy if it's a Game 3 of the best of 3 series, or if it is indeed an ALDS. We can discuss that. We'll just discuss, I think, everything that's been going on the last couple weeks while I've been gone. And to touch on that, so as most of you guys know, we had Blitzball Battle 7, which I obviously cannot get into whatsoever, so don't ask for any spoilers there. But that just had me, like, my whole entire schedule was thrown off quite significantly with, normally when I'm doing my Yank staff stuff, that's like the nightcap part of my day. Well, with doing Blitzball and anytime we're in the warehouse, my editing schedule shifts to when I usually do the Yanks. So with that, I kind of had to just go, unfortunately, off the grid for a good little bit. And then I had an ear infection, chat. What the frick? But I'm on antibiotics. I feel so much better this afternoon than I have the last few days. Even this morning, I was kind of feeling like shit, but chilling now. So we're back. You guys noticed, I'm sure, the highlight video went out last night. Apologies for the absence there. That's like the only time in my life I've had to kind of take a hiatus off of those. But point is here, we're back in full throttle, and couple more things housekeeping wise here. Watch parties are coming back. They're not going anywhere. Now what we're going to do is, until the playoffs start, barring like, say the Yankees and Jays are tied this weekend, or maybe we would throw one up for one of the games against Baltimore. But the plan for me right now is to do 2 or 3, maybe 4 or 5, probably 2 to 3, like playoff preview streams over the next week. We're doing this one right now, which is very much casual. I also we'll discuss my new angle in a second too, and then we're gonna really chop it up and get into it. I'll have the chat up as well too. I'm not sure how long we'll be going on here, but we're kicking it right now. If you guys, I'm sure it's probably a crazy crowd right now. It's freaking 2:35 in the afternoon. Word up, or if you're watching this later, it's kind of just like a little welcome back stream. Good to see you guys again, and again, apologies for my absence. But so I think my plan would be, we'll do another stream within the next couple days. Just continue to preview the playoffs, evaluate what's gone on during this time, and also I think what I really want to do is, I always often will have a player grading video. Sometimes it's a video. I think last year we did a live stream, and it's usually with a tier list. I'm not sure I'm going to go the tier list route this time, but I think what I want to do is have a separate live stream come the end of the regular season, so after Sunday. So maybe it's going to be like a Monday thing, separate from a playoff preview or a playoff series preview, whoever we end up playing. Oh, I had a burp. We're going to do a grading the 2025 Yankees, and I'm going to have all the stat pages whipped up, ready to go, and we'll kind of just like analyze each guy's season. And most of them are going to be players that I'm going to be raving about. Because, you look through this lineup, you look the way the starting rotation has rounded into shape. You look at the best record in baseball since August 11th, which we've been talking a lot about on Instagram on YanksAv. Yankees do indeed have the best record in all MLB since August 11th. They also have, and a big part of that is they have the best starting rotation ERA in that span as well. The only team that's pitched better than the Cleveland Guardians. So with that, with the health, with the added athleticism, which cannot be overlooked, man, and this goes with the fundamentals as well, but whether it be on Baseball Today, amazing show I produced. Shout out Dalton Feely, filled in for Trevor Plouffe today, and will be for the rest of the week. The general thought is the Yankees are still a bad baseball team, quote unquote. They're a bad fundamental team. And again, while they're obviously not perfect, these narratives all stem from, one, last year, and we can get into this, totally different team. It's a better team. But it stems from the beginning of this season. It stems from a few months ago. It stems from takes that existed pre-trade deadline. And forget just pre-trade deadline, because at that time, I was hyped about the acquisition of Jose Caballero. We didn't know that he would be this incredible spark that not only energy-wise and emotionally, whatever you want to say, like provides a spark for the team, he's legitimately performed exceptionally. And it's not just, and this is the more important thing, is the speed, is the chaos that he creates on the base paths. I was actually looking at his slash line the other day. Like, the dude is freaking hit. His OPS is above 800. He's slugging. Obviously had the walk-off hit last night to clinch. But, dude, the Yankees are running, and Caballero's a big part of that. Jazz Chisholm Jr. has been running again for a while now. Anthony Volpe, we don't know what his role is going to be. I'm actually starting to lean towards, if I had a guess, gun in my head, I almost think he's going to be starting game 1 of the playoffs, and they'll go from there. He is hitting over 400. He's 8 for 20 since returning from the cortisone shot. But whether he starts or doesn't, like, Volpe can make an impact off the bench speed-wise. This team is, I would say, easily the most athletic, the most quick, the most willing and able to take the next base Yankees team that we've had, at least in my opinion, of the Aaron Judge era. Maybe next to, I guess maybe 2017, but the 2017 team wasn't even that fast. This is not the same squad. This is my point. This is not the same squad that created all those narratives of poor fundamentals, a lack of athleticism, or one-trick pony with the home runs, which to me is not an insult to begin with. People are like, if they don't hit home runs, they can't win, which is not true. But okay, that's like me saying, the way I see that, it's like, if a team doesn't get hits, they can't win. Like, yeah, no shit. If you don't score, you're not going to win. I want the Yankees to hit 1 billion home runs. They've hit, 266 so far this year, which leads baseball by a landslide. Dodgers are like 30 homers behind for second in baseball. I wish the Yankees would hit 400 home runs. Home runs are fucking awesome. But the narrative that they can't score, they can't win without hitting homers is false. And Caballero is a big part of that. Jazz's speed is a big part of that. And even just bat-to-ball skills. One of the reasons why it's so adamant to bring Cody Bellinger back next year, because he's going to opt out, the two-strike approach that he has. There's so much more depth to this Yankees team. And for those that follow me on Instagram, on Yanks Ave, I've been very firm on this point, and really all year long, but especially now that we're playing well, I'm gonna be cooking with it, Chad. Excuse my French. I feel like I've dropped a few F-bombs in the last 5 minutes. I'm gonna stop. You can just start with the lineup and compare it to last year. And don't give me the fact that the 2024 Yankees went to the World Series. The 2023 Yankees could have gone through that American League. And I think this team's going to get through this American League as well. Although there's not amazing competition, there's stronger competition, particularly the Seattle Mariners, and I still do respect the Toronto Blue Jays. And even Boston as well. This is a much better, well, not amazing American League. Compared to last year, it is. The lineup. Compare what we have 1 through 9 this year to the 1 through 9 last year. Last year's was very top-heavy. As we know, you had Soto, you had Judge, you had a resurgent second-half Glaber leading off. After that, you had Giancarlo Stanton, who was money in the playoffs. So let's obviously include him as well. After that, you had a aging and concussed Anthony Rizzo. You had Alex Verdugo playing left field. You had Austin Wells catching behind the plate, which there's a good chance and he probably should at this point, because Ben Rice is getting a lot of the playing time at first base. But where was Austin Wells hitting to begin the playoffs last year? I remember in August and in September, he was batting third. He was protecting, he was batting fourth, protecting Judge and Soto for a good while, and he started to fall off. This is not a shit-talking fest on Austin Wells, and he's had some damn good at-bats lately. But take a look at what the lineup was to end the season last year, and take a look at it what it is now. And it goes beyond just comparing the 1 through 9. The bench, the versatility. Like, I know Paul Goldschmidt got off to this crazy start and has very much so fizzled out since then, but he's still hitting lefties. He's still this is cliche, but it adds value, veteran presence, and his defense at first base works perfectly for them to kind of play a game of chess with the bench. Pinch runners. All right, Rice gets on. You take him out, you pinch run. Let's say Caballero starts that game on the bench. You pinch run Caballero for Rice because you know Goldschmidt's going to come in for the better defense at first base. Rosario, not last night, but besides last night, he has done nothing but mash lefties. And you got, in my opinion, weird to say my opinion because I could check the stats on this, but just going off the eye test, and I feel like the stats would back this up. Jason Dominguez is the fastest baseball player I've ever seen. He beat out a single the other day. What was that, in Baltimore? And this happens every time I see Jason beat out an infield single or just show off his speed. I'm like, holy shit. At the very least, I'll say, I think Jason Dominguez is the fastest Yankee that I've ever witnessed. Maybe next to 2011 Brett Gardner. But I think he even surpasses that. This team is athletic. This team is deep. This team, going back to the whole veteran thing, it is the perfect mix of veteran presence and youth. And you still have Judge in his prime. You have Max Fried putting up one of the best year ones for a big money free agent that I can remember. I mean, 09, there's some obvious examples. CC, and that's a good one to compare to. Max Fried's overall numbers this year, and I have to speak on the numbers, because I know CC was insane in the second half, and I didn't watch in 09. I wasn't a fan until 2011, as most of you guys know, so I don't want to be one of those fans that looks at numbers and acts like he was there for the actual process. But just going off the numbers, Max Fried has 18 wins. He has a sub-3 ERA. CC in 09, this is my, tick speaking. I think I can probably remember his exact stats. I think he was, 19-8 with a 3.37 ERA, I'll say he was in 09. Max Fried on paper has been better than CC was in year one. Teixeira's year one, that was great. Whatever, I'm getting on a tangent here. Max Fried's been incredible. Carlos Rodon, best season yet as a Yankee. He's going to go tomorrow night in the series finale against Chicago. The 1-2 punch, we can just go right off that. Best, in my opinion, best in the American League. And then you look at who they have following those two guys. There's a big conversation right now, probably the biggest conversation that's, at least in perspective of the fans and the media, the Yankees may know what they're doing, but who's getting Game 3? If we do end up as a wild card team, which I don't have a fucking problem with that to a degree. I just want to win the division for like ego basis, and you want to win the division, you want to get the bye. That is the way to go. But I have a thought on the wild card thing that we'll get to in a moment. But let's just say they're playing that best of 3 series. Who gets the ball come the third game? Because Fried and Rodon are going to go 1 and 2. It's between either Heel or the rookie Cam Schlittler getting the ball in Game 3. I think the answer is Cam. Both of them will have a short leash. But at this point, Heel's season's been weird because the results are there. Even last night, he didn't look good. His fastball velo is down. He's not getting a lot of swings and misses. The walks remain an issue, as they've really been his entire career outside of a few stretches. Last year, early on, he was cutting them down, and then they started to skyrocket back up again. This year, it's been an issue that has only really been a threatening issue. It hasn't actually come to fruition because the runs aren't scoring. His ERA is in the low 3s. Even last night, wasn't a good out in the way it looked, but he ended up going 6 innings, 2 runs, and obviously got screwed by that miscommunication in center before the 2-run shot by Montgomery. Cam gets the ball in Game 3. That's both my prediction and what I would say should happen. The only thing is, though, it's not a situation where, all right, one guy gets the ball, then the next, or the alternative will go to the bullpen. I don't know if I want Heel pitching out of the bullpen. I look at it like, if Heel's not getting the ball in the third game of Wild Card Series, Heel's just not pitching in the Wild Card Series, unless, shit gets funky and you need him. He'll be on the roster, but I wouldn't pitch him out of the bullpen. Say you advance, or if they win the division, you're talking best of 5 series, or especially a best of 7 series, then you will need 4 starters. In that case, Heel can get Game 3, because it's not a winner-go-home elimination game. Cam has showed the poise, and more importantly, he showed the stuff to suggest he should get the ball over Heel in Game 3. So that's where I'm at. It's a question, but also I feel like one that's being posed by me, everybody else, but we all kind of know what the answer is, and it's no insult on Heel. And he is coming off, a weird-ass injury. The lat strain was out for a good while. If it weren't for the fastball velo being so down, and that, of course, is correlated to the lack of swings and misses, I might feel differently. Because, again, the season has been good. Luis Heel's, what's his ERA right now? Chad? 3.2, probably 3.3. You give the ball to Cam in Game 3. So you're going to go Fried, Rodon, Cam. As for the bullpen, that definitely has been the most concerning facet of this team, even as of late while things are borderline thriving. Weaver, last night, him getting out of that, the 7th, and then he came in the 8th, got out of it, kept the 9th scoreless as well to give us a chance to tie, then later win it. That was a big outing for me, because if he had gotten hit last night, and that'd be another outing where it's like, yo, Weave, you're not looking the same, kind of feeling about him. I would have been starting to get, individually speaking about Weaver, I would have been nervous about him, and I still am kind of talking with clearly some trepidation about him. He's had a few clunkers. A lot of guys that are names have had a few clunkers. But the last 5 or 6 games, they're rounding into shape. Again, continuing the theme of, at the perfect time, things are clicking. Now, the rotation to me is like a sure thing, we're in a good spot. The lineup to me, sure thing, we're in a good spot. I won't go as far as to say that with the bullpen just because, a week's worth of them pitching significantly better. But the names are all there. This bullpen is still loaded on paper. I know people hate that saying, but they just got to step up and do their jobs. And is unconfident a word? Or as much confidence as you might lack with this bullpen. Game 1 of the wild card, if they throw up 4 scoreless or whatever we need, 3 scoreless, or one guy you're not feeling great about but comes in game 1 of the playoffs and pitches well, like that, you're, all right, here we go. We're chilling. We're locked and loaded. And again, the bullpen is loaded. They're in a position to where, if they just don't shit themselves, not only are we going to be chilling with the back end of our bullpen and just the depth we have out there, that's a facet of our team that very well could be the best in the American League of the postseason contenders. Although Cleveland, their pitching staff is just freaking incredible right now, too. So the bullpen definitely on the hierarchy of what I feel the best about, it would go Lineup and rotation might be tied right now because they're both in such a great spot. But we'll go lineup, rotation, bullpen. But the bullpen could jump right up very quickly, and you could have a three-way tie. And pretty much what I'm saying is here, every facet of this team is in a good spot. Could be if the bullpen figures their stuff out. Going back to the AL East, though, I want to win it. Mostly because I hate the Blue Jays, and it's just like an ego thing, and it'd be so cool to, after everything we went through this season, which has certainly been a fucked up season, like it's been a grind for Yanks staff, not the team. No, yeah, but I don't worry about us being a wild card team, though. And some of you have heard me mention this before, but a legitimate cope I had if we do end up being a wild card team and had the best of 3 series, no bye, no real layoff besides one day, a legitimate cope I have is I think it could vastly benefit Aaron Judge. You look at Chad, post-IL, to begin a season, coming out of the second half, obviously the playoffs, the long layoff, Judge does not perform well when he sat down for a while. And what furthers that point is, I know Judge's playoff stats aren't good, and this is not making an excuse for him whatsoever. Like, you having 3 days off for a bye or 3 or 4 days off is not an excuse to turn to a meatball come October. Look at Judge's career stats in the wildcard round. You probably don't have to because I'm sure you all remember. Judge thrives in the wildcard round. He always has. It's immediately following the season's end. I think if the Yankees do end up playing that best of 3 and Judge really just picking up where he left off a day after the season ends, and right now he's hitting the ball well. Not getting much to hit lately. He's getting intentionally walked, getting walked a lot, but the power's returning. You look at his stats over the last 30 games, Judge is back to being Judge, and that, of course, is huge. If the Yankees end up being a wild card team, which is by no means set in stone, but if that's the case, it'll actually make me more optimistic about Judge's performance come October. Even last year, you had the bye, and again, I'm not making an excuse as to why Judge has been bad in the playoffs. But when Judge is cold, it does take him a little bit to get going. And unfortunately, one of the biggest disappointments, like the worst part about Game 5 last year in the 5th inning and like losing that game besides the obvious is that, Judge was getting hot. He looked better in Game 4, hit the homer in Game 5. We had Aaron Judge basically returning to form. In the case of a wild card series, no layoff, unless he just goes cold out of nowhere, which some might think it's just the yips, some might think it's the pressure. And I can't push back on that, but what I do know is when Judge hasn't had a layoff, when he goes right into the playoffs, he's thrived. And that's not just the wild card round in separate. It's, in 2018 they were a wild card team, and that was a 1-game playoff, but Judge hit a huge homer, 2-run shot first inning. Look at what he did against Boston in the ALDS that year in 2018. I think he hit over 400, hit 3 homers. Judge has succeeded in the playoffs before. And to wrap this part of this conversation up, and this is clear, we're not going anywhere unless he does hit. So anybody that says, it's a foregone conclusion, Judge is going to get the yips, and that's that. All right, well, accept the Yankees aren't going to win then. And maybe that's what some people are doing. On the flip, though, if Judge does hit, and I say hit, I'm not saying Art is decent, 800 OPS. I'm saying Judge is Judge. Lethal, relentless, FU offensive production. If he's Judge, if he's that, it's game over. It's game over. So in one sense, it's I get why people would think Judge just isn't going to hit because that's, for the most part, what his track record has been in the playoffs. But what if he does? What if he does? And you factor in the real Aaron Judge to a team that, as we were talking about before, in my opinion, is actually not even comparable to last year. It's better. And with that said, God forbid Judge does struggle again, or even just say gets out of the gate slow in October, has a bad round, whatever. The depth of this team, this roster as a whole, is way more suited to be able to stomach that, to be able to stomach a bad round from Judge or a game where Judge doesn't show up. Because it's not just him. It's not just him and Soto. In the case of October last year, Stanton. You have other guys that can get the job done. So with that said, we're already in a better spot. But I also want to say, what if Judge does hit this October? And in a way, the more and more I talk about it, it's like, we need Judge to hit. Because no matter how good the supporting cast is, if Judge is a meatball come October, we're not going to win. But he actually doesn't have to be great. He just has to be good. But what if he is great? AKA, what if he's just himself? To me, then it's a clear cut, no doubt about it. We're going to win the World Series. At the very least, get back to it. You got to win it, though. You got to win it. And just kind of wrap up my overall thoughts here. I think this is the best team Aaron Judge has ever had. And I've said that similar take for a good few months now, but this is the best roster I've said Judge has had. Now it's actually starting to feel like you can say it's the best team. They're playing well. They're clicking. They clearly enjoy each other's presence. Like, there's just a very good vibe. And winning will do that. Ultimately, that's all it is. Like, if you win, you're going to be chilling. If you lose, you're not. Like, that's why I always get not upset, but like people are like, oh, the vibes are good, vibes are bad. Well, yeah, I mean, if you're winning, the vibes are good. If you're losing, the vibes are bad. Simple as that. Done. But every box is checked with this team, yo. The talent's there. The trade deadline was successful by Brian Cashman. The team chemistry, no doubt about it, that's there. Check that box. And besides some hiccups from the bullpen, which does still remain to be seen how that's going to work out, although they're looking better lately. Things are clicking right now, chat, at the perfect time. So we got 1 week, less than a week. I mean, the season ends on Sunday to figure out what exactly the future is going to be in terms of schedule. But going back to the AL East, here's where we stand entering tonight. And we're not going to discuss too much like individual game. Like, I don't know if the lineup's going to come out while I'm out here or while I'm on here. But this is very much like an evergreen stream until the next time I see you guys on live. But game back, really, 2. The Yankees have 5 left remaining against the White Sox, or 2 against the White Sox and 3 against the Orioles. First things first, you got to sweep the White Sox. I'm not one to be like, oh, you won a game, but it's still an embarrassing the way you played, or the Yankees didn't deserve to win that game. I think that shit's whack. Like, if you win, you win. Who cares? The fact that we almost lost a game to the White Sox last night, and it was really just that close. I'll just say this: like, that should not happen again. Go sweep the White Sox. Go take care of business tonight. You got Fried going. You got Rodon going tomorrow. Win these next 2 games. So let's just say they do that. They're 91 and 68. And let's say the Blue Jays split the next 2 with Boston. Which, again, Boston's throwing Crochet tonight. Blue Jays are throwing Scherzer. So let's say Yankees take the next 2. They take Wednesday's game. They take Thursday's game. They improve to 91 and 68. Blue Jays split, lose tonight, win tomorrow. They're 91 and 68. We would go into the final series of the year, quote unquote, tied. You know, the Blue Jays are the tiebreaker, which I'm done saying. I think we all know that. Let me see really quick who Toronto's playing, actually. Are they playing Houston? Is that right in my brain? Let me see here. Whoa. Yemo Biab. It's giving me red font now. That's interesting. Are they playing Houston, chat? Toronto in their last series. Oh, no, they're playing Tampa Bay. Okay. So I'm not even going to focus on that last series, actually. I'm just going to talk about it right now because I'll see you guys again before Friday. The Yankees have to win these next 2 against Chicago. And we'll just say, I think the Blue Jays lose at least 1 more game in this Boston series. Let's just say it's tonight, and we'll say they win tomorrow. You're going to enter the final series of the year, technically tied. No, tied, but technically not tied, entering the last 3. In that case, the Yankees have to take care of business against Baltimore, which they absolutely should do. Try to sweep, but there's a world where you just win that series, and the Blue Jays don't take care of business on their end. It's there for us, chat. We can win this American League East if we take care of business and the Blue Jays relatively shit themselves, which they are in the midst of doing. It's right there. Not to sound like Aaron Boone, but yo, why would I not want to sound like Aaron Boone? He was right, chat. He was right. It's right in front of us. Yo, that's kind of where I'm at with this whole thing. Like, I think I'm in the best spot, and I think almost every Yankee fan should be regarding this team in the best spot we've been in all season long. The roster is good. Players are performing at their best. They're looking like a team. The fundamentals have significantly improved, and that's not being discussed, I feel like, as much as it should. A lot of people are just running with narratives, and I get it. We're Yankee fans. We watch every single game. The general media, they cling on to narratives that have existed for 4, 5, 6 months. And it is aided for the fact of, like, there are certain plays where you'll watch a Yankee game, you turn it on, and it's like, that didn't look good. But shit like that will happen. Like, Judge and Grisham last night, not ideal. But doesn't all of a sudden bring us back to, the Yankees can't complete a game, or the Yankees are only going to beat themselves. Unless they revert back to, I don't know, being a team that for a minute I was thinking, are they soft? Do they get the yips? And maybe come the playoffs they do. But I'll just tell you how I feel right now. I think a lot of that stuff has subsided behind us. The poor fundamentals. And Caballero is a big part of that. And we don't know what's going to happen with the shortstop because Volpe's looking better lately. I will say, he's actually looking better at shortstop. The throws last night I thought looked significantly improved. He was really throwing the ball. Shortstop's a big thing here. But we discuss it a lot. Go around the diamond, pick a defender. Like, who are you really that concerned about? Jason's not going to be really seeing any time in the outfield. Ben Rice, I'll give you that. Although, talk about improvement, his picks at first base, significantly, he's improved in that regard. And you obviously have to have him in the lineup, and then come the 7th inning, come his last at bat, you'll replace him with Paul Goldschmidt, who's a pretty damn good defender, especially with picking the ball at first base. I don't want to be redundant. Just things are clicking right now at the perfect time. And between just us, the Yankees playing well, which makes me like the overall sport of baseball even better. Like, this is a good time of year, man. Good time of year. Like, there's so much shit going down in the league between, like, the Tigers collapse, the Guardians overtaking them, what the Mariners are doing out there. And the Mariners might be our biggest threat in the AL now. They're looking legit, no doubt. Houston, I think as of this very minute, are out of the playoff picture. You go over to the National League, obviously, shit's going down with the Mets, who had a big win last night. But this is just, when the Yankees are playing well, when you're feeling good, particularly going into October, this is where it's the time of year, chat. This is it. We got less than a week if we're going to play in the wild card series. A little over a week if we end up win the division. But enjoy this time right now, because how often is it to where we're, like, even me, Mr. Optimistic, like, chilling with the Yankees? And I don't know about you, but I right now am certainly chilling with this 2025 New York Yankees team. In fact, I love them. I love this Yankees team. Let me pull the chat really quick, see how you guys are doing. Oh, so, really quick, you notice, like, this new angle. I have a monitor set up, which I hope it's not an obnoxious angle for you guys. It should be, pretty normal, I guess. But I usually go off my laptop, voice crack. I usually go off my laptop and have my webcam up there. Now I have this monitor set up, which is like a second screen. Laptop that's usually right here in the center, over to the left, webcam on top of the monitor. And it just makes it a much more, like, stationary setup, kind of like a plug-and-go type thing, which makes this easier. And I like the whole setup here. So sorry if I, switched up on you a little bit, but it's only going to make it even easier to stream going forward. And one more thing before I pull the chat, again, reminder on schedule, highlight videos are back. We had Blitzball Battle. I technically still do have an ear infection, but, like, I feel so much better now. But yeah, highlight videos are back. Watch parties, unless there's, like, a tiebreaker scenario, like we're tied with the Blue Jays entering the last game of the season, maybe I would try to do one then. But playoffs every single game, just as last year, and it's going to be freaking awesome. But in the meantime, over the next week until the playoffs start, we'll be coming on here just to do these, like, podcast-style live streams, where I just come on here and chit-chat about the Yanks, discuss how I'm feeling. Going to pull up the chat right now really quick. Not even really quick. We'll probably be chilling for a little bit. See how you guys are feeling. I mean, it's been a minute, yo. So I kind of just want to catch up on what's been going on with everybody's lives. But, Ward, it's freaking 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You guys are in here watching me. That's what I'm fucking talking about. We got almost 200 people in here. Hell yeah. And, first things first. Shout out David Phillips with a $20 super chat. My man, what up, David? How you been, brother? 1 second. I'll read that in 5 seconds. Let me pull up the chat over here so I can see everything. Alrighty, so yeah, shout out David with a $20 super chat. That's freaking awesome. Says, hey Dan, great to have you back. I've been going through watch party withdrawals. Yo, David, I freaking appreciate you. Yo. And what I really felt bad about was one, definitely the watch parties, but also like the highlight videos. Again, this is the first time I've ever really had to take a hiatus off of doing those. And not to scare anybody, but we're not going anywhere. That was just a quick little hiatus. Or sabbatical, if you will. But yo, David, trust me, man, it is good to be back, brother. Even just being on here right now. Seen all you guys, seen all the familiar faces. Shout out Morgan. Shout out Luna. See, we'll be chopping it up. I see a bunch of familiar names in here as well. Shout out intern Tim. It is good to see you guys again, yo. And perfect time to be doing so because I imagine it's not just me that's feeling really good about this Yankee team right now. But David, thanks again, my man. I appreciate you, brother. Morgan says there was also some other super chats earlier as well. Matt B says, with a $5 super chat, appreciate you, Matt, says, Dan, I saw your comments about Anthony Volpe has been killing it. Let's effing go rep Bronx. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, so small sample size, but when, it stems from the fact that he had a cortisone shot, returning from that, he's 8 for 20 since coming back, and that's a 400 batting average. Scored the winning run last night, which that to me is almost more. Seeing Volpe score that run last night, which that ball was fucking crazy. Like he threw it right to the backstop on a 3. That was an awful pitch. Mostly anybody's gonna be scoring on that. But it just furthered my excitement, my feeling of promise I have about this 2025 team at this point right now. Of they're so athletic, they're not just a station-to-station team, and that also will help for the crowd that's all about, they're home run or nothing. This team to me isn't. Like, I've seen home run or nothing Yankee teams before, and when I think of home run or nothing, I think more so back to not really even the Judge era, like the 2010 to 2012 Yankees, like they started to get that way, especially like 2015 when you had your offense was a resurgent A-Rod, a resurgent Mark Teixeira, Brian McCann. Like, it was, if you're not hitting homers, they really otherwise didn't play baseball. I mean, this team is quick. They're athletic. And like Volpe again last night, for example, they can make so much happen. And that, when you can steal bases, when you can, be a smart base runner, make shit happen, cause chaos, it kind of makes, from a viewing perspective, and just more importantly from a offensive production standpoint, it's very difficult to have those innings that just like cruise by, nothing's happening, the offense looks flat, because you're always making something happen. So even just the speed alone, the athleticism alone, takes away that, in my opinion, that home run or bust perception that a lot of people have about this team. Appreciate you, Matt. J. Rob with the super chat says, "What's up, Dan? Let's go win a World Series." Hell yeah, yo. Hell yeah. Still remains to be seen, of course, what we're going to end up doing a wild card or the division. But for right now, it's time to go all in on the AL East. Like I said, you got Boston throwing Crochet tonight. We're throwing Fried. So just to sort of imagine a world come Friday entering the last series of the season against Baltimore for us, Toronto facing Tampa Bay. There's a very, very likely possibility, if the Yankees take care of business against Chicago, win the next two, sweep them. Toronto wins one, loses one against Boston. We're both 90 and 68 entering the final series of the season. At the very least, what I'm saying right now is like it's not to the point where it's no longer, they could win the East, but like you really shouldn't get your hopes up. Which you guys know I hate that line of thinking to begin with, but I was even at the point of like, all right, they could win the AL East, but like I'm banking on the wild card. At this point now, it's real. We could win this shit. Hey, what up, Luke? Good to see you, my man. Yeah, we're back, yo. We're back. Lineup's out. Word. Which means I'm gonna have to run in just a moment, chat. But let's see. Lineup for tonight. This is Wednesday against the White Sox. Grisham, Judge, Bellinger, Stanton, Rice, Goldschmidt, Jazz, Volpe, McMahon. Word up. That's another thing, yo. The Judge era now, the perception even of the Boone/Judge era is different than it was. And this is, in some parts, changing over the last few years. Like, they used to be so annoying with off days, not having a consistent lineup. The main thing being the athleticism, which we've already discussed at length. But, like, that lineup, it feels so concrete. Now, if you're facing a lefty, which they are technically, but it's a reliever for the White Sox. An opener's going for Chicago, so that'll be only like an inning or so. So it's really their righty lineup. It's been a consistent staple lately. Like, you kind of know who's playing. That's awesome. The off days have been significantly reduced, and that's improved over the last couple years, but especially this year. Like, this is not the same old Judge/Boone Yankees. I think it's kind of like my take here, chat. You know what I'm saying? This current team right now it's not your fucking, it's not the high school Dan Rourke Yankees. You know, like, I've been watching now this era of baseball, this Yankee team for a good while. Really 2018 on. That's not when I started watching. That's like what I consider this era to be, obviously, with Boone. Things have changed, and they've changed for the better, yo. They really have. So good lineup tonight. And you kind of know every night's going to be a good lineup. Austin Slater should never lead off, though. And to be honest, I don't think he should be on the playoff roster, to be honest. But I have to really do a crunch and figure out who makes it, who doesn't. Austin Slater kind of seems like a lost cause. He definitely shouldn't be leading off anymore. I don't care if a lefty's starting. But other than that, like, there's very little for me to complain about right now. You know? Rice catching tonight. Yep. What's good, Moon Mist? Hey, Ben, brother. Yo, chat, what do you think of this, the new angle, by the way? Some of you may not even notice. I don't know. But I'm going to have to clean up the top of my closet back there before the next one because it's a little messy. Who would we call up for Slater? Jones or someone fast? Well, it's not so much about calling somebody up because, of course, we have 28 guys on the roster right now for expansion. Come the playoffs, of course, it goes down to 26. So it could be a conversation of, do they want to carry the extra pitcher? Say, you know, if Cam is indeed getting the ball in Game 3 for the wild card series, would that just leave Heel off the roster? A lot of people think, no, Heel would still be on, although I can't really see a world where I'd want Heel coming out of the bullpen. Like, in a 7-game series or just purely starting, But Game 3, I want to go Cam. I think the Yankees want to go Cam. And with that, I don't think you should really just be like, all right, now Heel, you're going to come out of the bullpen. So with that said, maybe he gets left off the roster, and that could keep Slater on. Or does Heel stay on the roster, and it comes a conversation of, like, Slater or Jason, which Jason's definitely making the playoff roster. No doubt about it. I mean, the speed of Jason, it all just works out so well. Like, you have Stan in. Stan gets his at-bats. So he gets his fourth AB, hits a double in the 7th inning. Jason will pinch run for him, and then Jason comes out for defense. You'll have Slater coming in the outfield, or it could even be, like, Caballero can take away the outfield. Rosario could play right, whatever it is. Maybe I'm forgetting somebody. But, yeah, man, just going back to the whole depth. Like, this team, it's fun to watch, bro. Like, it really, really is. Especially the way, like, you guys know I like to watch, and a lot of you guys as well. Like, I kind of like to anticipate which moves are coming and kind of play manager from my bedroom. You really get to do that with this team because there's always moving parts. It's always like a revolving door. Not a revolving door, but, like, it's like it's like a game of chess. Like, the depth of this team just, like, it works so well, and it's freaking awesome. The Martian earned this postseason. Yeah, I mean, by being gifted with fucking godlike wheels, it's crazy. It really is insane. Now, what I also can't wait to do, speaking of Jason, with the grading Yankee players, I can't wait to talk about this year for Jason. I think it's been a W of a season for him. And if you were to show us his stats entering the season, and it's like a 715 OPS, like the overall numbers, like counting stats, aren't like amazing. I think this has been a productive year though for Jason Dominguez. He had stretches where he played well. We found a pretty clear problem, and that's he can't hit lefties. He's got to work on that. And I agree with I think it was Paul said the other day, or maybe it was Girardi, like, send him to a winter league, whatever it is. Like, don't even have him hit. Left-handed. Like, have him bat entirely from the right side, facing lefties, and just figure that out. But he played like pretty much a full season. He experienced a big league season, figured out where he needs to improve. He also added a lot of value still, and it was just you saw it's like a year of development at the big league level, and he's still so young. I think this was a successful year for Dominguez, and also he could play a huge role in the postseason off the bench, speed. You know, you see what Springer said last night. I did see that, Matt. Yeah, Springer saying and I don't have a problem with it. Like, if I was a Blue Jays fan, I'd probably be thinking the same thing. And I don't doubt, actually, that might even be the case. So that's not why the umpire made a bad call. I'm sure MLB does want the Yankees to win the division. And for those who didn't see, Springer was like, he got screwed on a call that was, it was clearly a fair ball down the left field line, and it was called foul. Springer was tweaking, and towards the end of his little crash out, he said, if you want New York to win, Or if they want New York to win, just fucking tell me. Which I don't think they would ever come forward and say that. But, yeah, no, that was interesting. If you want New York to win, just tell me and give it to them already after the missed call, LMAO. The hypocrisy is crazy coming from Springer. Yeah, I don't mind him saying that because, I'd be saying the same thing. I really would be saying the same thing. I'll tell you one last thing, chat, and I got to get out of here because I got to do a pregame. This has been a freaking blast, by the way. I miss you guys so much, yo. I'm watching every single one of Cal's at-bats now. Cal Raleigh. I don't know if I would do this now, but 2 days ago after he hit 2 homers and he got up to 58, which he currently still stands at 58. I was like, I would trade the MVP, give it to Cal right now, which I still think it's going to be Judge's, but this is what I was saying on Sunday. I was like, I would give Cal the MVP right now just to ensure he doesn't break the record. I don't think he's going to break the record. I'm going to be honest with you, chat. I do care about that a lot. Judge needs to maintain that record. And speaking of this George Springer conversation, I think MLB, in their ideal world, Cal gets a 60, which he's 2 away from now, but doesn't break the record. I could live with that. I don't even want him to get a 60, to be honest. Because ideally, Judge does win the MVP, and I still think he will. But if Cal gets a 60, then it might actually start to sway things to the other side. He can't break the record. And I don't think he will at this point, knock on wood. But I was really getting into it on Sunday. I was like, because at that time it was 6 games left, and Cal hit 58. I was like, all right, when's the last time Cal had a 6-game homerless streak? And it was literally like 2 weeks ago he did. I would still assume he gets a 60, but that's it. At this point, I'm chilling on the record. I'm chilling on the record now, but this is like Sunday, I'm telling you. I was tweaking on Sunday. I was like, I was freaking bugging out. But anyways, I am still watching every single one of Cal's at-bats. Bro, if Judge didn't get hurt, he would have won the Triple Crown. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know, because Judge's power did fall off even before getting hurt, though, if I remember correctly. Now, of course, IL rust always plays a big part for Judge. Like, he's often, as we talked about, very cold after a long layoff. It does surprise, if you were to tell me after the first 2 weeks of last year that Judge would end up finishing with, even with a 10-day L stint, only 50 home runs, I actually would have been pretty surprised. He's at 49 right now, but he'll get to 50. And ABS next year, Judge is going to have a 500 OBP. I'm still going to predict Judge's. I think next year will be a record-setting season in ways we've never seen before for Judge. They actually pitch to Cal, though. Facts, Nick. They really do, man. They really do. They pitch to fucking Cal. And the answer is obviously, Judge is so much better than Cal, which any logical baseball fan, even a Mariners fan, would admit to that. That's not always what the MVP is about. That's not what I'm saying. Although Judge still very much should win it. But I'm editing the highlights last night, and it's just I hope Mariners fans watching this highlight. Because it was all right, Judge walks. Next AB, Judge gets intentionally walked. Next AB, I think he maybe have gotten walked too. It's like a guarantee Judge is walking at least 2 times a night. So really, in a standard 4 plate appearance, maybe 5 plate appearance, Judge is only going to get 2 real at-bats a game. That said, one of the at-bats he had last night, he ended up grinding to the double play. But, shit happens. We're chilling. I think he goes deep tonight. But, chat, I'm going to get out of here. I get the lineup up. I appreciate you guys so freaking much. It is good to see you all again. And, again, we'll do watch parties every single playoff game. That's not going anywhere. Highlight videos are back. We're going to be doing live streams like this at least 2 or 3 more times before our first playoff game. New camera angle. I got to get a freaking haircut, hopefully before October. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for being here. Click like the stream if you haven't already. And, we'll have normal coverage in Yanks Ave tonight, as always. I think that's all I got, chat. Appreciate you guys so much, and I'll see you next time. Let's go, Yanks.